and welcome back to the 5h3rlock tournament between Billegend and 5h3rlock. Or should I say 5h3rlock, of course is how it's meant to be pronounced. This is game 2 after an absolutely riveting game in game 1, where Billegend may have won, for those who haven't seen game 1. Screw it, you've seen it. And Billegend won that just about, with that just that little bit extra health coming out from Heightenstall, allowing him to just like beat out Zed from 5h3rlock. Again, Billegend is playing Aurelia. It seems to be one of his favorite champs, but wasn't banned out by 5h3rlock this time. So it'll be interesting to see how this actually plays out. 5h3rlock this time playing probably a more safer champ in terms of just that health regen on his passive will allow him to just like be always healthy. This is Garen, of course, the Demacian brick wall, who will just continue to spin from that bush. Unfortunately, Billegend did not get wards to cover his behind, and Garen, of course, is going to be spinning out of those bushes at Billegend all day, unless this game ends, which we hope it does. Garen, of course, starting out with that cloth armor and 5 pots, a very traditional jungler role, of course. But it seems to be working for Garen. We seem to be having a bit of lag. Not entirely sure why. But hopefully that will clean itself up, and it has, thankfully. Anyways, or not. Well, hopefully it'll improve over time. But as you can see here now, just the champions just facing off against each other, just going for the minions. Billegend decided to go with the safe option of getting 6 health pots this time, not 5, and a red pot, which maybe it'll be used. We do not know. One thing we haven't talked about before is actually just the switching that you see, and Billegend just running in on top and grabbing that last minion. Of course, the Blade Surge is refreshed once he does that, which will allow him to maybe put some damage down on top of 5h3rlock. But that silence from that heroic strike, decisive strike, is a very, very powerful tool, and not allowing Billegend to actually counter-attack at all, unless he just simply auto-attacks or does something first. And we can see that Billegend is taking quite an awful lot of damage, but he's decided to go in on top of 5h3rlock here. But Billegend is just backing out, and he will probably get out of here because there's just not enough items being used by, or not enough abilities by either side in order to just chase that out there. Garen relies on his decisive strike in order to actually just gain that bit of movement speed to chase, while also using his spin move to remove any slows that could be on him. You can see Billegend taking an awful lot of damage, but that isn't exactly the worst thing. He does have an awful lot of health pots to chug through, but also Aurelia's passive on her Heightenstall will allow her to just keep regaining health per hit on minions. As you can see, he has 1 point already in that, while Garen has decided to go with 2 points in Decisive Strike, using Decisive Strike as his main damage output rather than his spin, which technically does a bit more DPS overall, but would require... Now look, we're standing right beside your opponent. Just a little bit of an engage today, just a little bit of rough and tumble, but there's absolutely nothing too dangerous about it, considering the closest proximity to the tower at this early stage of the game. As you can see, the tower chunks health at this time. Both on level 4 now. And minions actually in favour of Aurelia, even though she's been forced under turret to farm. Billegend has actually been run out of those pots. 5h3rlock's passive allowing him to just not use as many pots as Billegend has had to use, while also and he has a few more pots in tow as well. So Billegend is either going to have to go back eventually in order to buy and get more pots, or he's just going to have to play a bit more passive. Maybe use that Blade Surge just to finish off a few minions from a distance before running back out. But you can see Sherlock is not giving him an inch, pushing him out with that, with his spin. Judgment is what that's called. Very unusual name for a spin move. But I am not entirely sure why the FPS is absolutely crazy at the moment. If I pause this for a second, might let it get back up to speed. That seems to stabilize things a little bit. Titan style actually being maxed out for the Legend here, as he just tries to gain back that little bit of health by the active and the passive, of course, on Heighten style. Just on the mastery, or sorry, on the summoner spells used here, both are going with very offensive masteries. Both summoner spells, both taking Ignite Flash, just to be able to engage and disengage that much quicker. The Legend taking that damage from Ignite, Sherlock using it there just to push him away from tower. Maybe going to put some damage down on that tower at the start. The Legend forced back. He's going to have to go back and get some more health and items just in order to survive the Garen. Garen, a very powerful top laner, but just lacking a few tools right now that most top laners would have, such as maybe that stun just to be able to and disengage abilities that most champions seem to be getting nowadays. Aurelia deciding to go with the red crystal, ruby crystal, and 5 pots just to stay a little bit more healthy, just getting that more health, and hopefully just tank it more than anything else. Not going with any resistances, rather than getting some armor or something like that, just to reduce the amount of damage taken. He's deciding to just get more health, so they have more health than Garen. But both of them now have their ultimates, and the Legends is Transcendent Blades. It allows him to get more health back from minions. It also just allows him extra sort of damage from afar more than anything else. While Sherlock's Garen's ultimate is a Demacian Justice, that was right. And now just a little bit of a skirmish here in the middle. The Legend just cutting down the damage, using his Transcendent Blades and chasing Sherlock. Coming in with the equalizer, but is it going to... No, it does not. I wish I could tell you why my computer has decided to suddenly start lagging really difficult, like really badly, but unfortunately this video is going to be a little bit of a mess, but hopefully you can maybe forgive me for that. Bit outside of my powers at the moment to fix it. The Legend chunking down on that turret now, just using that auto attack with his minions under tower to get it almost down to half health. That was quite a massive amount. But Sherlock has come back into lane now with a brutalizer. That is going to be an absolute huge damage boost. And now the engagement has happened. The Legend is actually able to tank all of that damage from Sherlock. The minions attacking Aurelia as well, but just the simple amount of health regain is keeping the Legend alive here. Sherlock just taking an awful lot of damage from the Legend. And the ultimate is back up for the Legend. Very short cooldown on that, and Sherlock is coming in now again with his judgment. Using Demacian Decisive Strike down on top of the Legend just to silence and prevent any form of retaliation. But the Legend, after using all of those abilities, has suddenly run out of mana, and he has absolutely no items to bring that back, so he's going to have to sit under tower for a little bit, which could be very dangerous. Massive minion wave pushing up here for Sherlock, getting apparently in behind the Legend, and something is happening, and there's justices and there's ultimates and not ultimates at all. Sherlock is pushing him under tower. Maybe he's going to go and take him under tower, and something has happened, and Garen wins! And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you record a game at 5 FPS. I apologize for this. I do not even know if I'll actually put this up, but GG to Garen and Sherlock. That's tied up this series up to 1-1, and we'll try and fix this lag issue before the second game, or the third game. This has been Xenoronin.